Hello folks, so we're back on our third and last part of the tutorial. So right now we're going to be setting up the animated clouds, the BG, and some adjustment layers to finish everything and make it look as presentable as we can. To set up the clouds, just use noise, and as usual, you can play the size of the X and the Y, and go to frame 1, right click on the Z, set key, jump to 100, and you could just simply crank it up to number 5. And you play like that, or yeah. And then you could animate the translate X on frame 1, jump to frame 100, and just move it probably 10. Kind of go like this. I think I made it too little, so I'm just gonna resize the clouds. I want it to be like this. And change the gamma, a little bit of the gain, up, and grab a grade. You don't have to do it, but it's usually my my way of cranking up the alpha, but you don't have to. So I'll just grab a grade, switch the channels to RGBA, white clamp, and then crank up the white, 0.7, and a black, and just grab a constant, switch it to RGBA, change the color to 1, just grab a copy and pre-mult. There we have the clouds. Check the alpha right there. See that one changing? Just press A to check the alpha, and grab a card. I'm just gonna put this on menu setup right here. So I'm just gonna grab this setup here. It's the same camera right there. We'll click the camera. I'll press the F. If ever your view is like this, just click the card and then press F, and it will automatically zoom into what object you're selecting, and just rotate the card accordingly. Just move it somewhere here. Maybe we're gonna crank up the size. Maybe 3 should do. Right there, just like that. Switch it to 2D view, and now get the clouds right there. It's a little thick, but let's see when we merge it to the other elements. And don't forget to put a backdrop on it. Name it clouds. Again, this is not a beginner tutorial. This is intermediate, but hopefully a beginner artist can follow this one. And if you ever have any questions, just leave it in the comments and I'll try to answer all the questions as much as I can, and if not, then I apologize. So I usually put the clouds in front of the mountains, and I'll explain later why. And kind of like that. So now we have the mountains, we have the clouds, and we have the sea. It doesn't look much for now, but we'll try to edit it as much as we can. So from here, I'm gonna create a background sky. So I'm just gonna grab this blue right here, and what I'm gonna do is press O to invoke the roto, and from here on the screen left, I'm just gonna grab a rectangle shape and just left click and drag it, and then I'm gonna select it again and press E to feather it. Just feather it. You could select here, you could select here and just drag it, or just manually drag it like that. And we're gonna use it for color correction. Press C for color correction, and take the mask, connect it to the roto, this one connected to the constant, and we're just gonna gain it down, maybe a little bit of saturation right there. So there's like a gradient value going on, and the backdrop, just name it sky. We're gonna be tweaking it later. I just want to see how it looks like when we merge everything together. So that's the mountain. The mountain will be grab a merge, and just mountain will be A, sky will be B. So that's the sky, that will be the mountain, and merge the clouds. Now the sea. So now we're getting somewhere. For the clouds, what we could do is we're gonna grab another roto, go to the rectangle shape, and I'm just gonna put a shape just in between the cloud and the mountains, and give it a little bit of feather, just like that. And grab and press C for color correction. Connect the mask to the roto you just made, and double click the color correct, and you could crank up the gain, maybe like that. That's okay. That's good right there. And just maybe put a blur under the roto, or just crank up the blur, because we have like a really sharp line right there. Just to get rid of it, just crank it up. So now we have like a gradient colors going on in the background, and just adjust to your liking. So we're almost done. So what I use to integrate is, because there's a sharpness going on the edges of the mountains and on the sea, so what I usually do is from the mountains, I grab an edge blur right there. It has a default setting of 3. I can just crank it up to probably 7 or maybe 5. See if you go closer. Oops. Right there. If you disable the edge blur, it's got a nice blur value to it. It's a little heavy now, but let me save it. It might crash. So we have that. And then to integrate the sea to the mountains, I use the same setup with how I set up the sky. I just grab another roto and grab the rectangle. Just feather it out. And I'm not going to use a color correction, I'm going to use a constant. Just change the color to 1. And I'm going to grab copy and pre-mult. Connect A to the roto, B to the constant. Maybe I'll need a blur. Double click on the blur. And I just give it a value of 50. And I'm going to merge this one on A, B on the environment. So we had a thick fog going on right there, and just double click the merge and just adjust the opacity to your liking. Maybe adjust the roto a little bit like that. Just move it a little bit. Make sure you're on frame 1, because if you're on different frames, it'll animate. So be careful with that one. I'll just grab the feather. That touch. Oops, sorry. Now we have that. And to give it more integration, I usually use a light wrap. So B usually connects to the background and A connects to the foreground and the middle ground elements. So this is our background, or you know what? Let's connect the bead over here. B all the way here to the sky. And for A, connected to the mountains. Double click on the light trap. Intensity, I usually, my settings will be like 10. Click generate wrap only, disable luminous base wrap. You could either enable glow, it's up to you. So when you view it, you could have this. And I just crank up. I could just adjust diffuse a little bit, maybe a little bit of foreground blur right there, and I go all the way down the tree and I grab a merge and I plus it. A will be connected on the light trap. I always merge plus a light trap to the background. Some people merge it, which is a different result, but it's up to you. But I always use merge because I treat it like a light. So that's the difference right there. Now we're gonna fix this thing right here. So what I could do is I'm gonna merge plus it right here after the mountains. Just merge plus it like that. maybe give it a little bit of, maybe enable the glow, maybe close the glow. I mean, you could enable it and just add additional blur to it. I mean, a blur. Just crank it up just a touch. And reduce the mix. Use the mix. So we have that. We have this. We're almost done. So, and for my adjustment layers, I just usually grab a ramp. And for this one, what I do is I treat it like a different source of light. Right there. And I just grab a color correct. Connect it right there. Gain it up. Change the color to like a sunlight, a little bit of yellow. And I duplicate it. And I change this other ramp to down here. Like a darker value. And I change this one maybe default and just gain it down right there. And I grab a vignette, my initial vignette setup. You know, it's an easy setup. It's just an oval roto shape, and then I invert it, blur it out, copy premold the black constant, and just merge it right there. So it has that focus look on the center. So that's it. And I put a crop underneath and a write node. And just write it out on whatever specific file type you want. And thank you very much for watching my tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. And this is Owen Cartagena, and I'll be making more tutorials, and hopefully you could watch it and like it, and tell your friends to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.